You're welcome once again to Gospel Voice Library. This is Patrick, and this is the program called Mukama Yamanya. Mukama Yamanya is a program that we sit down just like the way we are and speak about our testimony, what God has done in our life from when we are young until where we have reached so far. And we give this experience to others who also listen to it, the kind of life we have passed through and the challenges that we have ever met. So it helps someone there who is still coming out in Christ, actually even those who have not changed. So I would like you to introduce yourself, tell them who you are, where you're coming from, then we begin from there. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. I am very, very much honored to be hosted here. Thank you, my brother, again. My name is Nuwagaba Isaac, also commonly known as Uncle Isaac. Very many people know me as Uncle Isaac.
Yes.
I am a married guy.
Yes.
I have one wife.
Yes.
I have 2 children. My firstborn Alpha is 6, Daniel is 3, and a boy and a girl. Yes, I'm a Christian, and that's very important. Yes. I don't know what else I should say.
That is it.
For now, that's it.
That is it. So Isaac, thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Yes.
Yes, we don't take it for granted. This is so much important. We value it. And I believe our viewers are also going to get something very interesting out of it.
So,
our program, Mukama Yamanya, we testify the goodness of the Lord. But we start from where He got us from. How did you begin understanding, and how was your life before Christ? That's where I want to start with us.
Well. That's really a nice question. Thank you. Before Christ, I must say I was messed up. Growing in a village, I went through a village life, and then I went to school, met a few peers who really messed my life more, because village life is not like town life. So when I came to town to study, I met a few people that really became friends, and they tried to show me direction, which I thought was good. But I later realized they were not good friends.
You came from the village to town, to primary, secondary, or nursery?
No. My primary life was in village. So when I joined secondary, that's when I went to town, Barra town, which is now city.
Yes.
And so I started studying from there. And so my whole secondary life was in town. But even when I would go for holidays, I would stay around town because I had uncles and sisters there. Yeah, but like getting back to your question, my life before, I didn't know Christ during my primary. Well, my parents are Christians, but doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be a Christian. So they used to drag us to church. They went to Anglican church, and so it was a culture at home that you have to go to church every Sunday. So it was just like a rule in the house. And but even when they dragged us to church, it didn't mean that I knew Christ. I didn't know Christ. And still in school, I would do contrary. I would do things that I'm not sure that I'm a Christian.
From school?
From school, yes. Yeah, so I made a few friends that introduced me to very many things. I danced a lot.
You started dancing?
Oh man, I really danced.
How did they convince you? And how did you start?
I went clubbing, I think, since S1. And they told me that, when you go to clubs, that's where you meet celebrities. I grew up in the village where I used to, listen to radios, hear a few songs of celebrities like chameleons, Julianas, There was this song that was Ziggy D. Those days, man, I'm old. Now you can see. Mike, yeah, Ziggy D. So we used to dance to those songs. So when I came to the secondary, these boys told me that, when we go to a club, we meet celebrities. And so my desire was to meet celebrities. And so I followed. Said I need to go to club and meet celebrities. So I went to club when I was in S1. And when I went, and we would escape from school and go to club. And so it was illegal also.
Were you having money?
I didn't have money, but my friends would actually encourage me to follow, and we would walk to club because our school was in town and clubs were in town. So we would actually walk at night, go to club, and club. And then after club, when there is like a party in town, we would know. And then we'd also go for those parties. We'd escape at school, know where the party is, go there, eat food in the evening, but also stay there and dance. There is this one party I'll never forget. You want to know?
Tell me. You need to know.
Yes. Now one day we went for a party. It was close to our school, and I go there together with friends. It was a real small party, and when we entered like this, it was around 8. So when we entered like this, the guys in the party noticed that we didn't belong to that party. And so one of the elders called us, "Hey, where are you coming from?" We said, "Yeah, we are from around. We just came to see what's going on, and is there food in Obas? You know how secondary life. You are looking for food and something to eat." And he's like, "Yes, we're going to give you food, but you are not allowed to go back home.
And then you should remain there."
And we said, "Okay, yes, it's what we want because we'll eat and dance." This elder told us that even when you have finished dancing, you are not supposed to go back home, or you're not supposed to go back to your school.
So where you
were like, so what is happening here? He said, "You have entered a cultural party."
Cultural party?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were celebrating some cultural norms. So some cultural beliefs were going on, and I think a lot of witchcraft was involved. We didn't know.
Incantation process.
It was like a cultural witchcraft arranged party of a certain culture, a certain clan. So they had called their blood brothers, clans and clan elders to celebrate rituals.
Oh my God.
We didn't know about this.
Oh my God.
And so the rule was, whoever was not part of that clan,
yes,
if you stepped on that ground, you are not supposed to go back home until it's the morning, and they have to do certain rituals to set you off home. So this was so bad.
So the situation started.
And so we ate food.
Yes.
We danced a little bit, and they entered in the ceremonies like at around 11. And we were guarded not to leave. They're like, "Hey, you are not leaving this ground. You're not leaving this compound until it's tomorrow, and until our clan elder shows up and then prays for you and then sets you off." But what happens if we want to go? Because we need to go back to school. We escaped from school. They're going to look for us in the morning. Like, "Hey, forget about that. If you dare go back home, something bad is going to happen to you."
Imagine.
We were very scared. I remember I ate a lot of food, but after that meeting with that old man, I felt hungry again.
The old food got digested.
And then I was shivering, and then I was praying, and then I was, what is going to happen in the morning? What are these people going to do to us?
Oh my God.
So we really didn't enjoy the party.
Of course you can't.
Now, in the morning,
what happened?
they did their stuff. they guarded us there.
Mm.
So in the morning we were there dozing, very worried, very terrified.
Mm.
And then this clan elder called us like, hey boys, come. We went there shivering. What is this man going to tell us? This guy was a huge man with a lot of beards, gray hair. And he invited us inside and he gave us some stuff in our hands. He made us sit in a certain way and put some things in our hands.
The hands were like this.
Yeah, were like this.
And they were dropping.
And for me, my hands were like this. Tears were flowing on my hands.
What were they putting in the hands?
I really didn't understand because it was some like soil mixed with a few, you know, goat's poo.
Yes.
Yeah, mixed with some goat's poo. And then we were holding them like this. And then he started saying things. And then he said that we repeat after him.
You were also repeating it?
Repeating it. And it was like kind of an initiation.
It was an initiation.
Like, what the hell is going on? And I was crying. I remember my friend actually peed in his pants. And we were 5 guys. And man, it was it is such an experience that I can never forget.
What happened?
Oh yeah, so now this guy, he's saying a lot of things that we don't understand. And he's making us repeat things that we actually don't understand. And we were there shivering, we were in fear, trembling. And after, then I had to ask.
Yes.
Because I was really, really trembling. I didn't know what was going on. I said, hey, when are we leaving here? We want to go back to school.
Yes.
We're students.
Yes.
And this guy, I remember him looking at me like this and continued the story. And I asked again, hey, we really need to get out of this place. And he said, please stop. He made a sign like, shh, stop. And you know what? I knew this guy was going to kill us inside because we were in his house and the doors were closed.
You were in the
He took us inside.
Inside the house?
Inside the house and closed the doors. And he was the only guy that showed up. He's the old man, beards and everything.
Where were you? How many were you?
We were 5.
Oh.
Yeah. And then after that, they brought food. And then they said, we must eat that food. Yeah.
And finish.
And it was not good food. It was actually bad food. It was very cold. And this traditional karo, I don't know if you guys know karo.
Karo, yes, I know.
Yeah, it's so traditional in our culture.
Cassava flour?
And maize flour
and maize
mixed up.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's so traditional. And this karo is not like the real karo I know. This was karo that had spent like 2 weeks. It was really old and really bad. And so he placed some karo in our hands and he forced us to eat. And of course we unwillingly ate because I really wanted to get out of that place. We really wanted to get out of that place.
They gave it in your hands.
So yeah, it came in our hands. And then we ate. And then he brought his herbs. And then they showered us.
They showered you?
They showered all of us, the herbs.
Mopping the body?
Yeah, they mopped our body, they bathed us. They really bathed us. And who were there like, because we took off our shirts, we made it our shirts. And this guy came and then showered us. And I was like, yeah, now you are free to go. Because he said, if I didn't shower you, you are going to get a lot of problems. And now when they said you are free to go, my friend.
Yes.
We took off. Oh man. We didn't look behind. Straight. So we reached at school at break time. And everyone was at around 10.
Jesus.
And then we had to enter the dormitory, then we had to sleep. I remember I prayed a lot because I didn't know what they had done to me. And so I was in fear. I used to have sleepless nights.
You were in which class at that time?
I was in S2.
Oh,
Yeah. So I used to have sleepless nights and everything, and yeah, so that's how it went. And but still, we didn't stop clubbing. We didn't stop going to parties. So I mean, when you're in secondary, you just need the grace of God. Otherwise, if you land in bad people and you don't have the right mentorship, your life can really be messed up. And I think we liked guidance, we liked mentorship, we liked having the right people. Yes.
All right. So you were in senior 4 that time.
I was in S2.
You were in S2. What happened next? I want to see your journey, how you are going up to senior 6 then.
Yes. So what happened next? Yes, my group grew, and because now I had become an expert,
in clubbing,
doing the field parties, moving around, approaching girls, ladies.
Wait, you also started approaching girls?
Of course.
How did you learn that? And how did you get the courage?
Of course. I mean, there are things that people really teach you. Yeah, I mean, because when I was in secondary, I was a short boy and young. Because I remember I went to S1 when I was 12. So you can imagine at 13 years, I was in S2, 14 years, I was just a young teenager. But that one didn't stop me from approaching girls. I'd just find my courage, go and approach a lady, because I mean, someone in our group, someone who approached a lady was considered to be a hero. And so you really had to prove,
yes.
I can approach a lady.
Yes.
I can speak to a lady. I mean, I can. I didn't have money, but I had words. My words were so sweet. And ladies really liked them. And I was somehow funny. You know how ladies like funny boys. Yeah, so I'd, crack jokes and bring stories, funny stories, and ladies would find this interesting. And so I remember I received my first letter from a lady.
You received your first letter
from a lady in S2. And so she wrote to me like, "Hey Isaac," and she was like, "Yeah, hey, and so I really like you and I like your style. I love your stories."
Okay.
And that letter was delivered by my friend called Jade. Oh man, I can never forget that moment. And so Jade delivered the letter, and there was no name, so I didn't know who was sent the letter. I remember asking Jade, "Where has the letter come from?"
Yes.
And then Jade said, "Do you want to know where?" Like, yes. Like, yeah, you have to buy me mandazi and chai. Like, oh man, I really want to know. And then I had to go to canteen and actually buy for him some bread. He just told me who has written to me.
Yes.
And then after getting to know, then I replied back. Then I thought I had gotten a girlfriend.
Yes.
Because this was a lady in my life for the very first time.
Your first time.
Yeah. So maybe I thought I had gotten a girlfriend. So I started bragging around, "Man, I have a girlfriend."
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. And when you go to the dormitories and you bang stories
about
like, I got one. And then I started tucking in. I started feeling smart.
Yes.
Because I wanted to impress her, to make sure that I look smart. I started borrowing some jeans.
From friends?
From friends to look cool.
I understand.
Me and my group used to wear same clothes. Yeah, like our friends would now like the so-called my girlfriend.
Yes.
Would not know whose clothes is this, because I would wear a jean. This one wears it tomorrow, the other one wears it tomorrow, the other one wears it tomorrow. It goes around like this.
Stop that. So you wear the jeans, the clothes move around.
Yeah, it moves around like this. So you have to book it on Saturday. It's me.
Oh.
And then you have to book it prior, and then you have to wash it, and then make it clean, and then put it on Saturday and drag around. And so I thought I had gotten a girlfriend. So. Yeah, And we started writing cheats because we didn't have any fun, we didn't have anything. So we just communicate through cheats. There was this book, the love book, the letter book. I don't know if it still exists. You would buy some book, and there were, writing parts, where you get a cheat in the book where the cheat is decorated with flowers and hearts. Then there's somewhere to write. Me together with my friends, we collected our pocket money and bought that book.
To impress guys.
Yeah, to impress ladies. And so every week I would black off one page, write my calendar, and then put dates. Did you write dates at the end of the letter? Dates in full dedications.
Magic.
Then you write a few songs down,
The best song of your choice.
Oh, Queen of My Heart.
African Queen.
I'm telling you. Kela Nelly, there was that I forgot. Dilemma, thank you. You put it there. And I've forgotten, but we actually had like the full black book full of dedications. So I'd visit it and get a few songs and write.
Could we have time for school for concentration?
I'm telling you, we would have, but our minds were corrupted. We would think about those girls. Still, we'd go to class and study. But of course, we were poor performers.
The performance was not good.
It was compromising. So we were not best in class.
Yes.
And we were not the last in class.
You are
so
there.
We would say we are in the middle there. So man, that's how life went on. And so I started playing volleyball. I was lucky. I became the best at volleyball. So I was in the class team, I was on school team. And so now know how ballers, ladies start liking you because you are a celebrity in school. I'm telling you.
Designful.
Yeah, you're representing your school. And so even the other girl also started saying, yeah, Isaac is my boyfriend. So it was like somehow like known around that she's my girlfriend and I'm her boyfriend.
Yes.
So life went on, but then my friend who used to connect us, me and my girlfriend, who used to take letters, who used to bring letters from her to me, ended up becoming her boyfriend. Things happened. So he took over my so-called girlfriend. And I said, well, that's it. So life went on in secondary. And of course with my peers. And at some points we were introduced to drugs. Yes, I did drugs. Marijuana, I tasted marijuana.
Also by the groups?
Yeah, within groups, yeah. And I remember the very first time I tasted marijuana, we went out of compound to the beach. And this friend of mine who actually introduced me to marijuana, he said, I want you to take only one puff.
Only one puff?
Yes. But I saw them, how they used to do it, and they would feel so high and they would feel so great. Like, oh man, this thing looks to be cool.
Yes.
So I said, okay. He said, please take one. Just once. So I puffed once. He said, okay, can I puff again? I did a second one. And then he said, please don't do the third one.
Stop with that.
Yeah. And then I remember when we were going back to the dormitory, I saw big holes in front of me. So as I was walking, I felt like I was falling into a big hole. And so I walked to the dormitory while jumping holes.
Oh, but were there holes?
They were not there. I was just high. So they kept on laughing at me. They laughed so high. Like, hey, Kadogo. They just called me Kadogo. Kadogo Checho. Then I was jumping holes, big holes. Until I reached the dormitory and I slept. And in the morning I'm like, oh man, what did I do? So I feel so high. So I did drugs for some time. I was introduced to alcohol. did alcohol warranty, local warranty, you know. There is this one friend of mine who used to go home, and at his home they used to brew warranty. Like they used to make warranty.
Yes.
And so he would carry the whole 5-liter jerry can to school, and then would hide it in the dormitory. Then every evening he would hide out and booze. And so yeah, we did a lot of stuff, and but all because of the peers,
Peers.
the group,
Influence.
influence, yeah.